Hey guys, Matic here. What we're going to work on today in our footwork series is a very basic fighting stance. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to find the length of our fighting stance. And the way we're going to do that is the same regardless of whether you're tall or short. It's pretty much the same. The only reason you might have to change a little bit is depending on body type or the length of your limbs. So the way we're going to find the length of our fighting stance, or how far we have to step out, is very easy. What we're going to do is we're going to do a kind of very simple horse stance. The way to do that, you want to make sure both feet point straight. Knees kind of slightly bent. That's not important. That's not what we're going for. We're just using this as a way to measure. In order to do that, take one of either foot, turn up on the ball of your foot, and drop your knee down on the ground. If you need something to hang on to help you get down, perfectly fine. It's not very comfortable on the knees to stay here, which is fine. We're just here real quick. And you're going to use your hand. You're going to measure between either a fist to a fist and a thumb, between your knee and your foot. I'm just under a full fist and a thumb. And from there, I'm going to come up. And this is how long my stance is going to be. And from there, so in order to get into our actual stance, I'm going to use this line. So if I'm going to face you guys, I'm going to take my back leg here, which is my left leg. I'm going to take my heel and step just on the other side of the line, so I'm heel to toe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my body and my feet, and I'm going to pivot to the corner as I face the front. I'm still going to maintain this heel to toe relationship the entire time. Okay? So once again, in order to find the length of our step, feet straight, turn up on the ball of your foot, drop your knee. Between a fist and a thumb, come up, then I have a line right here. Put the back foot or the back heel on the other side of the line. Pivot so that your body and your toes all point in the same direction. Alright, so that's on how we figure out on how long our fighting stance needs to be. So after we get to that, after we find out on what our feet need to be like, body and feet pointed to the side, nice heel-toe relationship, what do we do with our hands? And this is something that's usually kind of hard for beginners to figure out, and it's not their fault. I've seen a lot of experienced fighters do this as well. What we generally do is we like to protect our center. The main reason is because the center, from middle of your forehead all the way down, this is kind of where all the important parts of the human body are. You basically have right between your eyes. Of course, your eyes are on the other side. You have your nose, you have your mouth, chin, throat, solar plexus, the upper part of the pelvis. There's a nice little nerve center that really hurts in order to get hit there. And there's also the spine. The human spine is right down the center line. So since that's what I try to hit down that center line, I'm going to expect my opponent to hit down that center line as well. So what I'm going to do is when I step out into my fighting stance, I want both hands to protect my center. Okay? So when you are stepping out in front, hopefully you have a mirror somewhere, like I have these beautiful mirrors here that really need a cleaning, is when I step out, I want my hands to come straight down my center to protect myself. That's what I want. Hands are both in line, and so if I want to go forward at all, my hands are there. If someone comes to attack, I'm blocking right down my center. Even if it's a little off, it's easy to go this way, it's easy to go that way. I'm not committed to one side, I'm not committed to one side. Both hands can move both sides, and up and down if they need to. Alright, so now that we've figured out that our hands need to protect our center and not be committed to one side or the other, is now we need to figure out on how far or how close we want our hands to be. Because usually what winds up happening is we'll have students where we'll do floor drills up and down in fighting stance, and their hands will be pretty good. Then as soon as we start fighting, that pressure of being in front of someone, of now having to actually do stuff against a live opponent and that, oh crap, I'm going to get hit, their beautiful fighting stance will suddenly turn into this low guard kind of turtle position, kind of. And this is really bad because now my hands are here. One, now my hands have a much longer distance to travel to hit my opponent. But the worst part is now I have no guard. I can't protect my face. And if a good fighter, decent fighter, who's good with hand manipulations, is they can take their front hand and push my hands into me, thereby trapping me or pushing me on my back leg. Now I can't move. And then they just run me over. So you don't want your hands in here, and you kind of don't want them up here either, because now this is open. They can push this in. Now your body's open. So very basic. Again, this, in order to find your fighting stance and the way you do this, all of it kind of depends on your body. So we're doing a very basic, generic blueprint. And for that is, so when it comes to mechanics, straight lines are strong lines. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to take both of my arms and I want to make them right angles, both arms. So my backhand, so this is going to be my back arm, it's just going to be at a right angle, boom, covering my center here, and it's going to be pointed at my opponent's lower abdomen. It's just going to point straight. My front hand is going to be at a right angle as well, but it's going to be dipped down, and my fist is going to be pointing at my opponent's nose. That way, from here, it's just a straight shot, boom, right into the nose. And from here, nice and square, covering my center. Nice right angles. My left hand tends to extend out a little bit more. It's because I really like using my front hand for stuff. So I kind of like to reach out with it more. But if I'm just sitting and waiting, I want a nice strong guard, I have a nice right angle here. Whether it's my left foot or my right foot, and both of them protect my center. All right, so those are kind of the three important parts for figuring out your fighting stance. You want to figure out on how long your fighting stance needs to be, how your feet need to be, make sure you're protecting your center, and how far out your hands need to be. If they're too far out, you don't really have any punching power. If they're too close in, then you're just going to get smashed into oblivion. Okay? So we got all this, so we're going to finish up with just simple stepping drills to make sure that every time that you step out, that your fighting stance is good. It really helps if you have these nice crisp lines that I have here. So right now, I have a line right here behind me. I'm going to put my heels on the line, and I'm just going to practice stepping out with one foot or the other. So I'm going to step out with my left foot, boom. Making sure that I'm nice heel to toe, protecting my center. I have my nice right angles here, and then I'm going to step back. Then I'm going to switch feet, stepping out the right foot, making sure I have a nice heel to toe. Both knees bent, body and toes to the corner, protecting my center. And I can do that over and over. Boom. Okay. Then once you get that, you get tired of that after about 20 times, then you can start switching feet. And there's two ways you can do that. You can either take your front foot, which is kind of the safer option. You can either take your front foot, pull back, and then step, pull back, and then stop. And then step, and then still making sure you have this nice heel to toe relationship here. 1, 2, 1, and then 2. The second way that you can switch your feet, which is the more dangerous one, feel like living on the edge, is it's basically the opposite. You take your back foot, come up, and then step back. Come up, and step back. Up, and then back. Each time making sure that you're protecting your center and having nice right angles with your arms. All right, so the last movement drill that I'm going to leave you guys with is a simple box drill. I have these mats here, they're cut in nice little squares, and we use them for doing these type of drills. At home, if you don't have these nice mats, that's fine. You can take some tape, put them on the floor, just make it 4 spots. It doesn't have to be big, it can be small, it doesn't really matter. Adjust to your own. So what I'm going to do is this drill is designed to teach you and move in different directions. So in order to do that, the easiest way is whichever direction I'm moving in, I want to move the closest foot. So if I'm moving to my right, I want to step with my right foot. If I step with my left foot, assuming my opponent is as good or better than me, usually assume that they're better, if he's really good, he's either going to take my front leg out from under me and sweep me, or I'm going to eat a nice big juicy round kick in the back. Neither one I want. So if I want to move right, I'm going to step with my right leg, making sure I come into my nice fighting stance here. And the reason I mainly point towards the feet is the feet are the hardest part when it comes to fighting. If you don't know where your feet are, it's going to be really hard for you to fight. If I want to move to the left, I want to move my left foot, stepping over. If I want to move backwards, I move my back foot. Want to move forward, I move my front foot. So there's 2 kind of ways you can do this box drill. I can either use the big box, in which case I will start on one corner, I will push over to the next corner, push back to the next corner, as far as I can, big box, small person, step over to the next corner, and step forward to the next corner. And then I can switch feet, step over, step back, step over, step forward. That's one way you can do the box drill. The other way, if you don't have as much room, is you can use a cross. This is different types of box drill. This is using for other feet work. From there, I can just use this cross. If I want to move smaller, I move on one side of the line, mainly my front foot, other side, other side, other side. And I can switch feet. Move on one side of the line, other side of the line, other side of the line, other side of the line. So that's 2 ways you can do this very simple box drill. That's all I got for you guys today. Matic out. Alright, so that's how we find out how we want to be trying to aim for. So since I expect it's